Madiau, Yaukanan, Doimin, Yashiyit Shak. All right. This is going to be another dream of mine. I've already talked to you about the UN troops looking for dissidents. That will happen in the future. And it's not anything I didn't know before, but the dream I had in May or June of 2018 confirmed that. Many people on one prayer call for targeted individuals confirmed that they would be able to tell you I recounted that dream back then right away when it happened. But he kept it under wraps for so long, and I told it to a few people. But now this dream is going to be based on 2 Kings chapter 19, 2 Chronicles 32, and the book of Yeshayahu, Isaiah 36 and 37. And I'm going to focus on trying to toggle between all three accounts when I do this. And really what I want you to do is just read it. I'm going to refer to archaeological evidence related to Sennacherib also in this dream. And I don't have any Greek or Hebrew words for you here, but one thing I'll tell you is that I'm going to start with the scripture. And I like the basic account in the book of Yeshayahu, so I'm going to do certain passages on that first. Chapter 36, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the 14th year of King Hezekiah that Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came up against all the fortified cities of Judah and took them. Then the king of Assyria sent the Rabshakeh, which is, they say here it's a chief of staff governor. It also means to war, to declare war. So Rabshakeh, that is a word I can tell you, it means to declare war. With a great army from Lachish to King Hezekiah at Jerusalem, and he stood by the aqueduct from the upper pool on the highway to the fuller's field. And Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and Yoha the son of Asaph, the recorder, came out to him. Then the Rabshakeh said to them, Say now to Hezekiah, Thus says the great king, the king of Assyria, What confidence is this in which you trust? I say you speak of having plans and power for war, but they are mere words. Now in whom do you trust that you rebel against me? Look, you are trusting the staff of this broken reed, Egypt, on which if a man leans, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh the king of Egypt to all who trust in him. And they were making alliances with Egypt also. But if you say to me, We trust in Yahuwah Elohim, the Lord our God as you know him, is not he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah has taken away, and said to Judah and Jerusalem, You shall worship before this altar? Now therefore I urge you, give a pledge to my master. There you go. Give a pledge, right? Promise to my master, the king of Assyria, and I will give you 2,000 horses, if you are able on your part to put riders on them. How then will you repel one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put your trust in Egypt for chariots and horsemen? Have I now come up without Yahuwah, the Lord, against this land to destroy it? Yahuwah said to me, Go up against this land and destroy it. So you see here, Sennacherib, first lie he tells. Go up. See, God told me to tell you guys to destroy your own people. Okay. I'm going to skip over a little bit. And the Rabakashe said in verse 12, Has my master sent me to your master and to speak these words, and not to the men who sit on the wall? who will eat and drink their own waste with you. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip over. You already saw Sennacherib say, hey, I'm going to give you more than Egypt will give you. 2,000 horses. Then here, down to verse 16. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for thus says the king of Assyria, make peace with me by a present. Offer a tribute is what he's saying. And come out to me, and every one of you eat from his own vine, and every one from his own fig tree, and every one of you drink the waters of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying, Yahuwah will deliver us, the Lord. Has any one of the gods of the nations delivered its land from the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? Indeed, have they delivered Samaria from my hand? Who among the gods of these lands have delivered their countries from my hand, that Yahuwah the Lord shall deliver Jerusalem from my hand? But they held their peace and answered him not a word, for the king's commandment was, do not answer him. Then Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and Yoha the son of Asaph the recorder came to Hezekiah with their clothes torn and told him the words of the Rabashakeh, the one who will declare war. That's your Hebrew for today also. Now, I'm going to, remember, this is out of Yeshayahu, Isaiah 36. You can also find this in 2 Kings 19, 2 Chronicles chapter 32. And I won't continue to read on, but you see here what Sennacherib is doing, right? He's saying, look, I'm going to give you chariots. Don't trust in Egypt. I got for you. And basically, if you side with us to go help fight Egypt, we'll go and, we'll give you, don't form an alliance with Egypt. Form one with us to go down to Egypt. Now, in the Bible, you see Egypt, to Egypt I called my son as a prophecy, and our Messiah, when he was born before the age of, 2, he had to get out of there to not be killed. So he went down to Egypt. The children of Israel went down to Egypt during the famine. We know that. Then there was a time after Joseph had died, 400 years, where they would not have known Joseph or respect him. And then it was time to come out of the wilderness. Well, how does this relate to today's dream, you might ask? And I'm going to wait and see if he has anything else for me. Apparently, this dream, as I will tell it, it's very true. Now, I'm driving a vehicle north of Austin on I-35. I start to pass in the Waco area, somewhere near Waco or in Waco. I couldn't tell. It looked like I was in the middle of Waco on I-35. And they are doing construction on there right now. But looked like when I saw an upper level go kind of like straight up in an angle, probably a very high pitch, about 45 degrees, if not even a higher pitch. Then it kind of went straight back up, and it kind of went into this road that went up into stuff. Okay, well, I can't tell you I know what that was, but it was an upper level that looked kind of weird. And some of that stuff even kind of looked like I was like approaching some kind of a roller coaster sort of thing, where it'll go up, down, and then it would kind of go down probably a little less steep. I didn't see anything up there, but I know that I passed it by, or no, I went up on it. Yeah, I went up on it. It's kind of hard to remember these things. And I was just sitting there suspended in it and panicking and whatever else. Then I ended up, it was like a bunch of people. It was like I was at Six Flags or something. A bunch of people were around there. It looked like they were having a carnival or fun or something. I don't know. But it wasn't really what it was. It was deceptive. And I'm going to tell you why, because the second part of this dream came later, about less than a month ago. The other dream came about a year or so ago when I was in South Carolina. I can remember. Now, the second part of this dream, which came later, has me apparently going through Arlington, Texas. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But there was an exit. I don't know, I-35 doesn't really even run through Arlington, so I don't know what happened. But whatever exit out, everybody was forced to go off onto this ramp. And again, another high pitch and then it would kind of, right at the entrance, at the top of the pitch, there was an upper tunnel. And to the left I looked and saw like an A, like past the logos of Arlington, Texas. All right. I saw the A with a pyramid. Now, in the Paleo-Hebrew, an A is simultaneous to the Aleph, the ox, the teacher. But to the Egyptians, it's like a pyramid. It's like a pyramid, like sort of like the Atlantis thing or something. And it's kind of weird because this is like an upper tunnel. Way to the, it kind of like opened up like a dome over the A, and then to the right of the dome, when it went down the curvature to the right, it started to straighten out and go to the right, like you'd go down like a corridor in a fancy hotel to drop somebody off or unpack stuff for a stay or something. And then that corridor went into a tunnel inside that. It went into like an underpass or a tunnel or something down there. And I saw cars going back in there. And I had just gotten into the entrance at the top of the pitch through the way in, the entrance, the portal that you'd call it. And I got out of my car and said, "What is this?" And it says, everybody has to test for COVID here. And I said, "I'm not going to test for COVID." They were walking me off, and I resisted, and I ran away, and that was the end of the dream, best as I can recount it. All right. Now, what does these passages about Hezekiah have to do with that? Well, let me go back to Sennacherib. There is archaeological evidence that uncovered a stele in the region we know as Assyria today. I think it would have probably been in Iraq or Iran or something, or even, I forgot, but that's okay. Spare the details. A stele in that Sanskrit, the script that it was in, and I think it was Sanskrit or something, I forgot the Assyria script, but it said that I had Hezekiah trapped like a bird in a cage, and I scattered 185,000. Well, we already know that Sennacherib spoke two lies to his people. He said, okay, to the people of God, of Israel, we're going to give you 2,000 chariots. Don't count on Egypt. Don't form an alliance with them. Then he said, you can hang out here and eat your own, drink out of your own cisterns of water, and you can have your own figs until I carry you off and take you to my place and give you better than what you got now. That's basically what it said, right? Well, the first dream about going through Waco and going to the top of a ramp and all of a sudden ending up in a crowd of people, to me, was everybody was going to probably, they were searching, they were probably even having a concert, but it was about helping people who had needs. for food and clothing and such. Perhaps. It kind of looked like a melee, but it looked like people were searching about what to do when they got up this ramp. I think a lot of people were probably promised, if you come up here, we've got something for you, kind of like Sennacherib did. All right. But, you know, the dream with going up in the upper tunnel was quite strange. And I think they had probably cut off the road to go any further. And I think, now that I look at this, they were probably going down, I think Arlington's off I-30 and I-20. So there was probably an exit somewhere off there where they were trapped and cut off. And by the way, I have seen the numbers 20 and 30 in visions. And I've even seen it in the trees and Roman numerals. And somebody in North Carolina can testify to that. I've got photos too, if you want to see them. And I'm going to put on the cover photo of this video, the stele that was uncovered by Sennacherib. Now, we recall that Sennacherib, after the 185,000 were scattered, 2 of his sons caught up to him, killed him, and then proclaimed Esarhaddon, the older brother, the new king. So, at this point, we see that in the future, there are going to be forced COVID testing and vaccinations, all there. And there's probably going to be, okay, now if you do this, we're going to give you food, we're going to give you clothing, we're going to give you all that. Guess what that is? That's the mark of the beast. Wake up, folks. The ID 2020 chip is the mark of the beast, doubtless. Don't even get tested for COVID. Don't even bother going up these tunnels, to these upper tunnels. Don't go up these exit ramps. Remember, I'm going to put in the description box the video from Oklahoma. Also, and I'm going to put the video where Trump said, we're going to use the military to force vaccinate. If any of this is true, we're still going to have Donald J. Trump as president. If what he says is true. But he could be like Assyria, boasting about what he's going to do. Just like Benjamin Netanyahu, who I believe is the Antichrist, also boast proudly about all their marvelous technology. Israel and the United States are probably the most boastful nations in the world and are going to get what it deserves. And if you go along with this program, you're going to get what you deserve. If you follow Yahuwah, by the sprinkled blood of Jesus Christ, by his covering, by the covering of his atonement, you're going to get what you don't deserve, eternal life, for the sins we have committed in the body we have done. And Paul said we're going to appear before the judgment seat of Christ according to the deeds we've done in the body, good or bad. We are going to all go to the judgment seat of Christ. Probably not the white throne, but probably some sort of rewards or loss of rewards or something. But we're going to all have a crown of life if we endure to the end. And that means you don't get tested for COVID, you don't trust in the medical system, you don't take the ID 21 vaccine, you don't submit to the agenda, you don't wear your mask wherever you go, best as you can, I will say now, according to your faith. And don't listen to empty Sennacherib threats. And right now we are in Babylon, which is really what Assyria took over. In Babylon, it was all subsumed under Babylon eventually. So, right now, Egypt is kind of, in a sense, our slavery. But Babylon is our confusion. Get your heart out of Babylon so you can get out of Egypt and get out of slavery. That's the dream, and those are the interpretations I have for you today. Please comment in the comment section below. Look in the description box for the links I promised you I'd give you. You can go to the scriptures I'm going to put in there for you, including Christ when he had to escape being killed by Herod to take a census for under 2 years old. So I'm going to tell you, don't take the census. I have the video on that too. I'll put that in there in the description box too. This is Matty Yahukinan, M7 Ministries International, on the move. More dreams and visions to come. Please look at the 2 videos I reposted from the main channel of this one on the Greek and Hebrew for the word corona. You're going to find it astounding and educational, and it's going to lift up your spirit to know, to do what Ephesians chapter 1, 17 and beyond says, to let the word of, Paul said in Colossians also, let the word of Christ dwell richly in you, singing hymns, songs, and spiritual songs. But Ephesians 1:17 says, open the eyes of my heart that I may know wisdom, knowledge, revelation, and that I may know, according to Romans 12, his mighty will. I'm going to bid you shalom. Shalom. I ran at peace at the 21-minute mark for Agenda 21 coming up. Be warned, do not submit to the New World Order, because most churches are going to do it, and most pastors have it in for you. So I'm going to bid you a blessed beginning of the week starting today, and I'm going to tell you I'm signing out.